Hello guys, today we are going to be talking about Assetto Corsa. Why this game from 2014 is still in 2021 and almost 2022 looks like the undisputed king regarding player base and ease of access for multiplayer games. People can get into multiplayer and it just still seems like the go-to simulator for many things, especially for F1 simulation, where you have pro drivers choosing to do their videos racing in this simulator over anything else. Remember how old this simulator is and the community support that it has been having over the past few years. The first thing that we need to look is the optimization. This is very well optimized and you can run it on really low-end machines or really high-end machines, and it will adapt and you have a lot of flexibility to get a lot of different results. If you consider the mods for the higher end machines, then the sky is the limit, because the mods are still being developed and every month with every update the mods keep the game looking better and better. At the same time, you can choose how much you can use of anything, and the performance impact is not that big because this again is very well optimized, so it's something truly amazing to have in regard. Some more modern games can have better graphics and the Madness engine will provide that, but sometimes you get a bad hit on performance, especially for force feedback or the driving experience, the simulation and the physics. And that's quite a bit bad trade-off, because sometimes it doesn't matter how good something looks, if the driving experience is awful or if the car handling is all weird, the experience of driving, it's not predictable and enjoyable. You don't have a real tangible learning curve, and it feels like something that you go there to waste time and not to compete. There are many examples of this in AAA titles as well. One of the highest points for this simulator has been the physics model. It has been like this from the start. The physics and force feedback and car handling in general has been praised by millions of people over the years. The best example to showcase this will be the Formula 1 drivers that choose this simulator to do their hot lapping videos and showcase their real-life skills and showcase the real-life interactions that they have, the way they approach the circuit, which curbs they touch, how they touch the curb, all the little details, and they replicate them exactly in the simulator, and the behavior is the same, especially when you get the best quality Formula 1 mods available, because as I said before, people are still developing software for this game, and when that happens, usually they bring out the latest developments in simulation that they can bring. So even though the game looks old and the engine looks old, some of the more modern mods actually play better than the original content, and that's something that should be praised as well. Of course, that this physics engine has its own quirks, and sometimes the cars feel a little bit light and the weight transfers feel very strong, especially stepping over some of the curbs. At the same time, I felt like some of those things can happen in real life when comparing to real life videos of the same car and track. You also have a very interesting force feedback system, and the mods let you tweak it even more, so that is always a plus. I don't have the most expensive wheel, quite the opposite. My wheel is the cheapest one, it's a Logitech G923, so I'm talking with a limited experience, but I really enjoy this force feedback comparing to everything else that I've played so far, and I've played most simulators available. The multiplayer experience has been improved with the mods as well. When we use the Content Manager launcher, which is the best way to experience this game, you have the Race EU with a ranking system, you also have Sim Racing system and World Sim series. On top of that, you still have the original Kuno's multiplayer system for this game. You have so many hourly races in different systems that it's really hard to enjoy everything that you can inside this game, because you have so many things that you can do and so many options. You have always lots of different cars and tracks in different systems that you can use and lots of people to race against. The amount of content that comes out of the box is insane, and even getting the DLCs, especially if you get them on sale or in a big bundle with a really big discount price, you get really nice cars and tracks. A huge amount of content that comes, that you can explore so many different things. Many simulators won't have as many different cars and tracks, especially the big names. You have really big brands, some of the best and most famous tracks in the world from all continents, and with the mods you can even expand upon that, and there are people releasing some of the best tracks overall. You can get lesser known tracks as well, so you have the best of both worlds. The amount of tracks that you can have in this game is insane. Also huge amounts of layouts. There are also lots of fantasy tracks and even tracks ported from other games, so you never run out of content to explore. When getting the game out of the box with all the DLCs, you'll have an amazing array of cars and tracks originally by Kunos. Most of the content is of high quality, and at the same time the selection is spot on. I believe that this is one of the best selections of content available without any mods on any sim racing game ever made. Of course, not everything is perfect, and there are some criticisms to be had in this simulator, especially the career mode and the AI. In single player mode we have career, time attack and challenges. The career mode can be described as lackluster, and with good reason for that. When you start, you have already everything available to you and you just do the career for the sake of doing it. Of course, there have been many games that work in a very similar fashion, and even when they had content to unlock was minimal content. I remember my first serious simulator that I played, Toca 2 Touring Car Championship from the British Touring Car Championship. All the cars and tracks from that championship came already unlocked, and you just did it to unlock extra cars and tracks to play in custom races just for fun. Many modern games still work like that. Of course that it is a very hard choice to do between having everything unlocked and just jumping into your favorite cars and tracks without any progression system, or at the same time having a career and a progression system that you will have to kinda like work for it. For some people that will be a waste of time, and they just want to start out racing at the best level that they can. For other people, I think that there will be a need of a driving school system or a progression system, even if everything is unlocked. And I think that the Assetto Corsa career tries to do that. It doesn't manage to do that very well, but it tries to put you through some challenges that will make you drive better. Of course that for someone starting out, the challenges are way too difficult, and there are better track and car combos that you can try to drive to learn. Only the first career championship starts with a very easy and slow car to drive. Shamefully, one of the biggest criticisms to be had is the AI. They act in a very clunky way at the start of the races, and they have hard time calculating and dealing with too many cars on the track around them. The Content Manager mod will help tame their behavior and will help you race against them, but overall it's a shame that such a great simulator has such a bad AI experience. Also, every time we are racing in single player, the AI looks very strong from the physics perspective. If they crash into you, they will send you to space, but if you crash into them, they will stay put almost in the same place that they were before. Of course, I'm exaggerating this, but it kind of feels like that every time there is contact. They will throw you off pretty easily, but it's very hard for you to throw them off, other than messing up with their own behavior. The final criticism comes in the form of the missing features that could have been added to the game and enhance the overall simulation experience. One of the biggest ones is the dynamic track behavior and weather. So we would want the weathers to change temperatures and humidity in the track, and the grip to change with it. Also the usage of the track to change, because when the cars go and leave rubber on the tarmac in certain spots. Those spots should have more grip. We are still missing some more serious enforcement of the flag rules and rules in general regarding track limits, entering and exiting the pits without crossing the white lines, being disqualified for ignoring blue flags and all the stuff like that, having a pace car in the yellow flags. Of course, that makes the game a little bit harder to play and less noob friendly, as someone could say. But at the same time, it really levels up the simulation and immersion factor of the races. We are still missing a ranking system and a safety system for the multiplayer, and a physical tire model or a better developed tire model in general, so the physics could still have been improved. In our conclusions, we can still get that this title still has years of gameplay to enjoy, and many really great drivers still use this simulator. Even if there is a small vocal minority that criticizes the force feedback and the physics behavior of the cars, we have to remember that most drift drivers flock to this simulator for some reason. There are simulators where it is even impossible to drift, of how bad the physics are implemented, and being one of the best in drifting can be a good example of realistic expected behavior from the cars. Even now, at the end of 2021, some companies still release games and simulators that they expect people to play with really high-end or lower force feedback wheels, and the physics models are pretty bad and outdated, way inferior to this one. The graphics might not be the best, but they are still very far from being the worst comparing to most of today's games. Never forget to use Content Manager and check out Race Department for some of the highest quality mods available. Check out the community size and number of mods available for each game there and reach your own conclusions. To finish things off, let's talk about the content and the pricing on this content. Many companies nowadays are doing very aggressive marketing tactics, and at the same time they are getting into monetization tactics that do not benefit the consumers. People have been paying more for less content, and sometimes the games are not as well polished or finished as they should be. Here it's quite the opposite, because you are getting an old game, you can get a really good sale on it, you can get the base game for almost for free, and at the same time you can get the DLCs on a really big discounted bundle or a really good sale and get everything really cheap, so the value that you are getting is insane. If we add the mods, then it becomes the icing on top of the cake, of course. I hope you guys enjoyed my video and that it was helpful to you, and that it will be helpful taking off any doubts that you might have had. I would also like to dare anyone to find a better cost to value simulator and leave it in the comments down below. Please leave your comments, like and subscribe my channel, check out my other videos. As always, thank you very much for watching, have a great day and see you next time.